Christians weren't supposed to struggle with depression. Here I am at a Christian school overseas teaching, so how can, a Christian teacher be depressed and be coming to pour into students every day when she's really struggling internally? Well, my name is Ellen Rosenberger, and I've been at South for a little over 2 years now. I had grown up in the church. My parents were missionaries. I grew up as a missionary kid in Bolivia. Good Christian, went to a Christian university, and I really had this concept of, well, I really just need to pray more. I need to read my Bible more. I need to figure this out. And so I tried those things, and it almost backfired because it caused more anxiety and more depression and more guilt that I wasn't doing well, and I was stuck in depression, and I didn't want anyone to know about it. All those internal dialogues of, you have to be a certain way, you have to live up to a standard in this Christian community, this Christian world, to measure up and be accepted by others, and actually, more importantly, accepted by God and loved by God and seen by Him. I think all those compounded my depression and made it almost impossible. It felt, at the time, impossible to get out of. I had never ever thought of suicide before that moment, and when I did, it scared me. So many different components helped me through it, through people showing me that God saw every tiny detail of my life, down to the moment where I had to call a friend and say, I just need you to tell me right now that God loves me and He sees me. They were the ones to take me and have me meet with a doctor. I'd never, growing up on the mission field, heard of anyone taking medication. My friends kind of coached me through that and just said, hey, it's okay. We've done all these other measures. Like, that was what my body needed at the time. And it wasn't just through praying harder or studying the Bible harder. It was through physical things, sleep and exercise and, feeding my body. And I learned that there's nowhere, no place too dark I could go that God's Spirit, His presence would not be. And He met me in my depression, and He gave me resources and tools to get out of it. And it was, no, I see you in your darkest moment, and I still want to be with you. And those friends modeled that to me, that was what they were able to do. And that was, because that's what Jesus does to us. Once I got through that first depressive episode, I was so grateful, overjoyed, just praising God for the victory He'd given me and all the many lessons I learned. And so I was depression-free for like 4 years. We're pregnant with our first child. I'd heard about baby blues, but I didn't really think about it until then. Then I had it, and so I experienced depression in a whole new way. Got postpartum depression 2 more times. So my husband would tirelessly tell me truth, pray truth over me, but not leave it there. He would also go on runs with me. He would make sure we're eating right and getting enough sleep. And so I'm very thankful. There's not everyone has that opportunity and that support system to help them through a depressive episode. It reminded me we can't just sit and bank on previous victories to get us through life. I see Christians as real people, not kind of how I grew up thinking like we have to be a certain standard. The physical body does matter. Everything's connected. Our spiritual lives, our physical lives, and it's not just get better at our spiritual walk and we'll get out of this depression. A lot of it is physical.
How would you advise someone who's like in that season right now?
And it does not have to end in pain or in the end of your life. There is hope, there is light, there is joy, there's freedom, there's life, and there's life abundant. Because Jesus is the giver of life, and He wants so much for us, for our minds, for our bodies. And there's so many lies that I have been trapped in before and have been liberated of, and it takes hard work. It takes community. It takes some basic steps, but it's possible. And that's what I think someone needs to hear in that moment is that God sees you, other people see you, and there's life to be had. It doesn't have to end in tragedy or pain but I've been there. I've felt like this is never, ever going to get better. But it's not true. It does, and it can.